You're watching the Michigan Football Report Q&A with our live audience. We're going to put this up on the channel, I think, on Friday. So appreciate everyone who joined the Wednesday evening live show. We're going to take your questions. So if you're watching the live chat, use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat. We'll get you on this mailbag cut. Let's take some questions here on the Michigan Football Report. How many tutties do you think McCarthy will have? I would say my prediction is 35 to 15. So I will say JJ McCarthy will have 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown in the game. I got to think that the game may play out similar to Ohio State or even Penn State, where it's a close game at halftime. Despite my keys to victory saying Michigan's got to start strong, because TCU might be the best close game team I've ever seen in college football, right? Go look at their schedule, how many one-score games they have been in, won them all except for that last game against Kansas State in the Big 12 title game. But Michigan could be the best second-half team maybe in college football in the last 20 years, hell, maybe in history. So I think JJ McCarthy, 2 passing, 1 rushing is how things will shake out. Those other 2 touchdowns will come from Diamond Edwards. Becky and Chad, how many rushing yards will JJ have? I mean, he hasn't really blown it up this year from a rushing perspective. Now, I think what we're seeing from JJ McCarthy, Ohio State game, he just hit some passes and he got confidence. It continued on through the Purdue game. Although he wasn't high percentage pass against Purdue, he threw a pass to Colson Loveland for that first touchdown that he just wouldn't have thrown earlier on in the season. Now he's at 4 weeks. It's almost like another fall camp, but he's not splitting snaps with Cade McNamara. It's not spring practice where he's only getting 15 practice splitting snaps, which he missed. Now he's been the guy. He's been taking every snap with the ones going into this game against TCU. I think you're going to see a very confident J.J. McCarthy. Michigan's going to take more shots downfield. But from a rushing perspective, I'm going to say 35 yards. I think he'll have 1 or 2 impact rushes. TCU is going to they're going to try their best to stop the run. I don't think they will stop the run. They're going to try their best. What that's going to lead to is much like you saw Ohio State. They're going to collapse on Diamond Edwards when he gets the handoff. And one at a time, maybe 2 of those, J.J. McCarthy is just going to eye that defensive end, pull it back, cut up field for 25, 30 yards. It'll be a big-time impact for a run. So I'd say 40 yards. Let's go to a solid 40 yards against the Horned Frogs. The Dark Guido, are we rooting for Georgia rematch or are we rooting for, what does that say, the generic Acorns? I like that. That's the Buckeyes, generic Acorns, because we know we can beat them. Do we have the question? I think it's a good chance to go to, what people are Ohio State or Oregon. I've asked this question a few times. Oregon, Georgia, a few times in most recent shows. Who are you rooting for? What he said there was very accurate. Is give me a G for Georgia, O for Ohio State. What the question was there was very accurate. Was Michigan can beat Ohio State, and if they got the chance to rematch them, I think they would beat Ohio State. But I don't think the risk-reward is there for me for Ohio State because a loss to Georgia I can deal with. Michigan will be preseason number 1 next year. They're going to have another chance to do it. But if we get a rematch against Ohio State and the Buckeyes pull it off, they come up with a better game plan, they win the game, even if it's in a fluke play or something like that, they win the national championship. And in some ways, it kind of erases the last 2 years of memories for me of success against the Buckeyes because they will have the ultimate boom on the rivalry. We won the national title by beating you. So I'd rather lose to Georgia than even give Ohio State the chance. But I think Michigan's going to beat either one. But that's who I am for. I think most people are rooting for G. They don't want to see Ohio State even have a chance at a rematch because they don't deserve it. Ishmael Williams, will Mazi's legal situation impact his decision to go pro? No, I don't think it will. I think it's a really good question, but I don't think it will because he is leading into that situation a few weeks back, 4 weeks back. He was 100% going pro. Now I think it's 99% going pro. I think if he some reason after the national championship game, if he gets feedback that he has dropped out of like this top 3 rounds, then he might consider coming back. But guys in this position, big interior defensive linemen that can move, that can make plays, that aren't just fat boys that take up space. Guys like Mazi Smith just don't come around very often. And you saw Bruce Feldman from Fox Sports call him the biggest freak in college football. He's jumping up 7 stairs on those things we kind of at the bottom of the stairs. You jump up 7 stairs. He is going to test excellently well at the combine. And I don't know if he's going to be a first-round pick anymore because he didn't put up the huge stats. But I think worst case second round, and as such, he will go to the NFL. Chunk XD says, if Michigan wins the national title this year, do you think Jim Harbaugh will go back to the NFL? I've heard rumors of the calls. Jim Harbaugh now apparently has an agent. So I don't think that's officially been announced by anybody, but Harbaugh's got representation to deal with his next contract. I think that contract's going to be a 6 or 7 year extension that kind of takes him through maybe like 2029, 2030 with Michigan, but he's going to field calls from the NFL. Now, what this might mean is you might hear more rumors than you normally do because, agents like to, put rumors out there to make one side, show some love. But I don't think he will go to the NFL. But, never know. You accomplish everything he wants at Michigan, wins the national title, beats Ohio State back-to-back. This would be the time to go. What's different about this year than last year, though, is that last year there were two jobs that were ready-made winners. The Raiders, coming off a playoff appearance. The Vikings, we're seeing what they're doing this year. What's the record? Like 12-3 right now? There is not that team out there right now. The Colts are in shambles. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a ton of talent, right? They've been in the playoffs, but they're not ready to win. Who, the Texans? No. The Broncos? Hell no. I wouldn't touch that job with a 12-foot pole. So unless the job comes available, someone retires or someone steps away that we're not expecting that's ready-made winner with a quarterback who's under 26, the job that Jim Harbaugh would have to take is a job that he will get fired from 2 or 3 years down the road. I don't think Jim Harbaugh wants to make that his legacy. All right, we put the word out. You guys didn't ask me for it. We did it. The Don t-shirts, right? Only 100 are available. $29.07. They gave me a price range. I picked the price based on this. Got something in my mouth from, I don't know what that is. $29.07. I don't know. I got something. I think one of these props on the show just kind of popped in my mouth. The Don, 7. So if you guys have not followed along, I think it's the best nickname in Michigan football history. Gus Johnson, 2 touchdowns. Diamond Edwards, touchdown, Michigan, the Don, right? So that is the t-shirt, $29.07, where we picked that one. So 07 is, of course, for Diamond Edwards. 2 is for the 2 touchdowns he scored against Ohio State. And the 9 in the 29.7 for his backfield teammate, JJ McCarthy. $29.07 is the price. Only 100 available for sale. Can we toss that in the live chat if you get a chance, Brett? Michigan, chatsports.com/Don7. It's chatsports.com/Don7. I actually got it. Don7. It'll be down in the comments and description of today's video or in the live chat. Only 100 available. I will have one next week, so make sure you guys are joining the elite crew. If anyone's wearing this in LA for the national championship game, we are having drinks together. We're partying all night long after Michigan wins the national championship game. Elevate Trainer 3000, who will lead Michigan in receiving yards against TCU? Interesting question. So I think we had it up there earlier in the show, Brett. So if you have the chance, let's take a look at Michigan's receiving leaders so far this year. We're going to just kind of set the stage for who my prediction is, because I don't think it's who everyone will predict, because he's not been a starter most of the year. Ronnie Bell. Cornelius Johnson, right? Huge game against Ohio State. Massive game. Remember, like over a third of his yards this season came against Ohio State. 2 of his 6 touchdowns. Luke Schoonmaker. Is he healthy? We'll see. Roman Wilson, more of a big play guy. Hasn't necessarily jumped out, and is a consistent deep or over the middle threat. But I think it's going to be this guy here. Colston Loveland. I think JJ McCarthy's pass to him down the sideline in double coverage, coming off the touchdown where he ran an excellent route, juked out a linebacker, then kind of broke away from safety to score the touchdown against Ohio State. I think it's going to be a Colston Loveland breakout game because TCU is not going to be expecting it. They are not game planning for the guy that 5-6 weeks ago was Michigan's 4th string tight end. He's going to get a ton of snaps. He was starter level snaps last few games. Big time play. Touchdown against Ohio State in his 1 catch. Touchdown against Purdue in his 1 catch. J.J. McCarthy went to him in double coverage, and the guy came down with the pass. True freshman. I think he's going to be one of the best players in college football 2 years from now. He's a junior. I think he's going to be an emerging star next year. And I think you can see like a 4-catch, 85, 90-yard performance out of Colston Loveland. I got him down for one of those 2 McCarthy touchdowns that we are predicting. Who you got in this one, folks? Give me an M or a T. I'm expecting it to be mostly M's, but I don't like necessarily, it's just like with anything in life. I hate being, just somebody who goes with the flow. I have to say Michigan's going to win every time. If Michigan's not going to win, I don't think they're going to win. I will predict as such. If you watched the show 3 years ago, I was incredibly critical of the coaching staff, the game plan, and performances Michigan had. And I predicted them to lose a bunch of games. I do think they are going to win this one. So I've got an M. I'm going to type my M in the comments. I'm going to light the comments up here a little bit on the live. It's almost been 100% M's in the live chat. Let me know down in the comments of the on-demand. It's going to go up on Friday. Let me know what you guys think. Who you got, Michigan or TCU? Give me an M or a T. Hashtag Michigan. Thank you so much for using the hashtag from Jaisher Beckham 1. He says, what position will Harbaugh choose if he comes? Because I don't think he'll want to play defensive end because of the weight gains he'd have to make. So that would mean no track. Would he go wide receiver? I think it probably is like Devin Funchess. That's probably the best Michigan assessment. Who's the guy from Florida? Kyle Pitts, right? Kyle Pitts, if you watched him at Florida, he hasn't, done as much. He's been a decent player in the NFL, but a wide receiver, Gronk, is a good example. I mean, Nyckoles Harbor is one of the all-time freaks in college football and high school football recruiting that's going into college football of the past decade. Now, he's the top 20 player. He's not the number one player overall. And the track situation comes into play. I've kind of explained him to people. Like, he's kind of like Usain Bolt with 15 extra pounds, a little slower, obviously, as a football player. So I think wide receiver, defensive end, he's going to think gives him the best chance to go pro in football or track, but be able to play both sports. If you're playing defensive end, I think you end up dealing with a lot more injuries, have to battle guys hand to hand, and you get an injury there. It could impact his track career, which he actually thinks he has an opportunity to be an Olympian later on in his his career, I guess. All right, bunch of haters and losers. Ohio State football with Scarlet and Great. Those guys are on YouTube, so if you check their channel, go just tell them how much of bums they are and whatever it is. Okay. OH, baby, Stroud is your daddy. Explain. What? He's just not, though, right? He's just not, all right? This is the quarterback. Think about the last quarterback to lose twice to Michigan. I mean, I don't want to take a shot at Michigan here. But give me a break here, Johnny or Corey, those hosts over there at the Scarlet and Great. I mean, we got to go back to Eddie, what's the guy's name? Joe Germain or something like that? Not Joe Germain. Who was the guy in 1995? I'm missing his name for Ohio State, 95, 96, 97. That's how long you got to go back-to-back years. I mean, Ohio State made the worst decision in the history of the program before the 2021 season. Starting Coleridge Stroud, one of the mentally weakest quarterbacks that has ever played in the Big Ten, especially one that was a two-time Heisman finalist. Not your daddy. Stroud, good luck. Come back to Ohio State. Come back to Loud. Just type Go Blue. You see this guy in the comments, an Ohio State fan, a complete, troll, hater, and, of course, loser. So type Go Blue. Make sure we don't get any more of those. I'm surprised we put that in the we know the guy a little bit, so we put him in the live show. So thanks so much to everyone who got their question is. Baron, Ken, and others are typing Go Blue. Carl, says Carl Stroud is soft as Charbon. Green Arrow as well says Go Blue. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching today's Mailbag. Go Blue.